The city of Spokane just passed its annual drinking water test, but 2 tests came back positive for the so-called forever chemical PFAS within city limits. Our Nicole Hernandez went through the report this afternoon. And Nicole, what water tested positive for the chemical?
So the city found small amounts of PFAS in 2 of the 7 city wells. One was the Grace well, and the other was the one at Ray and 23rd, which services the South Hill. The city said they didn't detect a lot of PFAS, but the amount here at Ray and 23rd is just over the new federal limit. The city detected 4.4 parts per trillion of PFAS at Ray and 23rd. But what exactly is a parts per trillion?
It's about 1 drop in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So it's a very, very small, minute amount.
Small, but still over the new federal limit.
And the standard used to be for the federal government was 70 parts per trillion.
Back in April, the EPA made that standard stricter, dropping it to just 4 parts per trillion.
I think there's just been more data about how much is actually in our blood, and then there's correlations with some types of cancer.
So the Ray and 23rd well is just barely over that limit.
PFAS doesn't break down, that's the problem with it. So even if you're having 4.4, you drink it for a long time, it'll accumulate to some extent in your blood.
Chad Pritchard says for that reason, if you can, consider getting a water filtration system.
So it's a bit of an issue, but it's not something that I would be super concerned about in the whole world scheme of it.
It becomes a bigger issue in places like Airway Heights, where, for perspective, the PFAS tests came back with upwards of 1,500 parts per trillion. Chad also said it's basically impossible to completely avoid PFAS.
It's all over Teflon pans, Gore-Tex, it's everywhere. So it's always going to be in our bodies to some extent, in blood, and then therefore in the environment.
And the city says most people on the South Hill get water from a combination of 3 different wells. That means the water is even further diluted by the time it gets into a house. The city sent out a statement about the PFAS. They said they have, quote, implemented updated testing and are monitoring procedures for these contaminants. The city also joined a lawsuit against PFAS manufacturers and are supporting an investigation into the contamination. In studio, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.